Hello, listeners. Welcome back to another session. This is actually the last session of Season 2 for IPA, and I'm so excited to end this year with my good friend, Nikki. She is an incredible director and a producer for her own production company, C&J Films. Tune in for a real treat as she takes us through her journey in directing and producing and basically being a boss. IPA sessions will return in 2024 with a Season 3. So thanks for listening and enjoy. Welcome to IPA Sessions. Welcome to IPA Sessions, a podcast for independent artists. I'm your host, Kay Jacob, and this is a place where I like to try and provide inspirations for practical application and entertainment. And today I have an old friend of mine who I got to have the pleasure of working with within the film industry. We came up as production assistants together, hitting that grind, all that fun stuff. But she is very, very talented. She has come a very, very long way from the PA world, and I'm so proud of her, and I'm so happy to have her on today to talk about all this amazing work she has done. I have Nicole LaBrucherie. She is a filmmaker and a producer who has her own production company, C&J Films. She has established and worked on many music videos and shorts and has other projects in the works as we speak. So, Nicole, welcome to the show. Say hi.
Hi, Jacob. Thank you for having me. Side note, super proud of you for doing this. It's amazing. You're a freaking rock star. I had to say it. Sorry,
Yeah. No, thank you. We're both coming up. We're just figuring out how to stay creative and be creative.
And I'm all about, we all rise together. I love supporting people and other filmmakers, and especially women and men. I just want everybody to succeed, like really. That's how I roll. So.
No, it's great. And, Nicole, can you just I know a little bit about yourself, but could you tell the audience and the listeners out there a little bit of who you are and what exactly you do?
Yes. So I'm Nicole LaBrucherie. People call me Nikki as well. I grew up in Palos Verdes, which is a little, not little. I'll be honest, it's a conservative area. It's just south of Redondo Beach. Very beautiful. When I grew up, there was like marine land there, which now is Terranea and Trump Golf Course. But it is a beautiful place where I grew up. Very nice. Yeah.
Yeah, things change over time.
Things totally change. I've been back there a few times. I have a few friends who love the area. And it's funny because we'll go back up into the area and I'm like, oh, it's like being a place where you're from. It's great, but it's also like I left for a reason, Yeah. So
I'm from the South. You have to say no more.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So, but anyway, is what it is. But it's beautiful, So I get why people stay there, live there, So, but yeah. So I grew up there. My dad was a big. How I got into this business, basically, give you a quick backstory on it. My dad was a commercial director. In the 80s, very successful. He had Hanson's commercials, OP, if you know that clothing brand. He did stuff with Pacifico beer. We were always, my siblings and I were always on sets, right? Always doing stuff either in front of the camera or behind the camera, but usually in front of the camera. I was in this commercial when I was I don't barely remember it, and I can't find it to this day. It was a Cherokee clothes commercial. I was in this red outfit and running down, and this woman had to kiss me and be my mom. And I was so not into the fact that she had to I was I don't want anybody, my mom, fine. I wasn't a diva or anything. I loved being there, but I was just all right. So yeah, we were just did a bunch
learning to act on the spot.
Totally. It was so much fun, but that's where I honestly fell in love with the whole process of filmmaking and everything, Yeah, it was just so much fun, just seeing how everybody worked in the jobs and just being creative. And my dad was so creative, he was constantly in advertising. You sometimes have to come up with pitches like on the spot. They don't give you a lot of time. So he'd be up all night, doing that with his partner. And it was just fascinating. And I was just there like watching him a lot of the time. So
yeah, seeing a lot of the technical behind everything that
totally.
You got to peek into a window that not many people get that opportunity to see. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. And
I didn't even know that about you. That's so cool.
I don't really share. I will say this, and he definitely didn't put up with crap. Like Harry Connick Jr. was on his set at the time dating Jill, who he's still married to today. Like he was not being the nicest at the time. So he definitely kicked him off the set, but it's all good.
This is the 80s.
Right. Exactly.
Early 90s.
But yeah, so that's where we experienced a lot, I was in front of the camera as well. So, but it was really cool. So that's kind of where I fell in love with it. And
that's awesome.
Yeah. So, and then we segued into, you and I met, right? So as PAs. Yep. So I went to college and to Cal State Fullerton for a little bit. And when I was there, I got to experience just during I'll tell you this, you don't know about me. During the summers, I would go and I would stand in and stuff on sets.
Oh, so you did do some stand-in work. Look at that.
I did. Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah.
A little bit of everything. Yeah. That's great.
Yep. And then I segued.
I mean, that's this industry for you too. You
Totally.
got to dip your toes in everything. You really want to know how everything works. You need it to see it from every angle.
Right. Exactly. And I got to experience, I worked on Entourage for a little bit. That was an experience. But see, once you get a taste of it, you never really go back. You know what I mean? So that's kind of what happened to me. I did that. And then I segued into production life, into PAing, because I was like, well, I don't want to, stand-ins are amazing. I love them. I will always treat them. But for me, I couldn't do it anymore. You know what I mean? I wanted to I knew what my passion was, which was ultimately filmmaking, because this I didn't say. I always go back off topic. But when I was younger too, I'd always create stuff with my cousins. We would always do creative stuff. It was whether it was me with the video camera filming my cousin skateboarding, or it was create stories and we would act out skits. It was always a creative process for me. I wasn't able to do that standing in. And I was like, well, I need to be creative. Something's got to change, So for me, that's when I segued into, production at that point to learn more and to kind of grow and help and be really involved in the aspects of how a production works and just involved in learning.
No, it's smart. What helped you take that next step though after the PA world to, I guess you could say, invest in yourself, take the chance on yourself, and do what you said you want to do, be creative? How did you go about stepping into that filmmaker producer role in your own way? Well,
so backstory, when I was in production on Santa Clarita Diet, I got close with everybody on that show. It was a very special show. Drew's an amazing woman, Drew Barrymore. And Ken Quapis, one of my mentor directors.
Nice.
He allowed me, he's not only a mentor, he's my third father, honestly. We're very, very close. He allowed me to shadow him, basically, as a director on that show, as a PA. I mean, he did, and as well as the producers, Jimmy, and they all allowed me to do it, and I could still PA, but not during that time. And I just got to focus on, what I wanted to do, which was the directing aspect. And I got to shadow him and he taught me a lot. And it was probably one of the most greatest experiences of my life, to be honest with you.
That's a really awesome opportunity. And for anyone out there listening, if you want to be a filmmaker, and it doesn't matter how you go about it, if you go to film school, if you just pick up a camera and make your own stuff, if you ever get the opportunity to shadow an established director of any kind, especially if they're amazing and nice and human, take that opportunity, because no matter what you think if you shadow someone else, you're going to learn so much more. Right. And you're going to, in a way, you're going to certify the things that you already know, and you're going to correct things that you knew, but you weren't quite right about it. You really learn a lot about yourself as a filmmaker when you shadow or have the opportunity to literally be right there side by side with another creative mind, and to see their process. And don't worry, you're not going to end up copying them. You're really going to find what makes you. Right.
Your own style. Right. So
exactly.
Basically, I will tell you, to segue into your first question, is what made me take the jump. So I ended up, after that show, I was like, all right, I'm done. I'm done PAing. I'm just going to figure this out. If I have to get another job, I'll get more jobs. I'm going to pursue what I want to do, which is direct and produce, like that's what I want. Cut to me shadowing another director, Steve Pink, who's a really good other mentor of mine, on Cobra Kai. The very first episode, like first season of Cobra Kai, I flew out to Atlanta and
one of the greatest seasons.
Yes.
That's so awesome. You got to be there. First of all, big nerd. I love Cobra Kai in general. It's a fantastic show. Season 1 was amazing what they did with it.
Right.
Just had to put that out there.
Totally.
And that show started off independent. Surprisingly, it started off very independent. It helped kind of boost some things with the YouTube Red at the time. And it's now something else. But that's awesome. Sorry to interrupt you, Nicole. I had to say that. That's so cool.
Please.
Big nerd.
I love it. But that was really the whole, I didn't know how I was even going to get out there. I'm like, I had this money, but I'm like, how am I going to do this? Just go do it. If I don't do it, I'm going to end up regretting it, And I remember on Santa Clarita, back to Santa Clarita, I found out Steve was like, yeah, come shadow me on the show. And I'm like, yes. And I was so excited. I told Tracy at the time, one of the producers, she's like, yeah, go and do it. You got to pursue what you want to do, And so through there, I'm like, Cobra Kai, Billy is amazing, He actually, for whatever reason, was like, the cast was all really kind to me. And at one point, funny enough, one of the girls on the show is no longer on the show, but she was like, yeah, well, let's get you directing an episode the following year. I mean, just like random stuff out of their, mouths. But I guess maybe the cast saw something in me that I didn't really see in myself. I don't know until, I feel like proving yourself for me is a huge thing. And my biggest critic is myself. Right. So when I tell people I have to win, it's more or less I have to it's I'm against myself, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? It's a perfectionism that I've always sort of had, or,
I get that.
Stems from my childhood. So, yeah. But that kind of, through that whole process, I got back to LA and I took very few PA gigs after that. And I was like, you got to kind of to do something. And so I had gotten I was actually finished this PA gig, and a friend of mine was producing this music video for this Swedish band. And he was like, yeah, we want you to direct a video. And I'm like, what? Amazing. I was like, absolutely. So we had a bunch of production meetings, and we went and did it in 2 days. It was out in Palm Springs. And
that's awesome.
We had no budget. I had a DP who he was great. Chris was amazing. And we went and did it. And I was like, you're going to, again, it was my whole getting past my own stuff, my own fear, right? I knew what I wanted. I had a shot list and the time frame that I wanted everything to happen. And, part of directing is you're collaborating with other people. So yes, it's your vision, but for me, it's our vision, right? It's creative. There's so many people involved, right? So, we made it happen. And there's all these other things that will inevitably go wrong. And you have to kind of roll with it and work your way through it and believe in the project.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to believe in your work. Because, and you said it yourself, and I believe it's the same for almost any artist out there. You're going to be your own worst critic.
Oh, 100%.
So you're looking for that validation. You're looking for that ability to prove yourself.
Right.
And until you honestly see it in yourself, it's going to be difficult no matter how many people compliment you and tell you what great work you're doing. Until you really feel like you have done it,
right.
It's hard to really grasp how great you are. And I love that. But would you say that doing this music video was kind of the first step that really pushed you towards being like, okay, I want to do this more, and eventually led to your production company?
Yes, I would. But I will say, after the music video, to segue, the guy who hired me for that was like, great, we want you to do this short. And I'm like, cool, awesome. But
opportunities present themselves.
Yes, exactly. There was not a lot of prep time for me, so I definitely learned, right? So, yeah. And I had that discussion with Ken. I was like, well, how long? And I'm like, 2 weeks. That is not enough prep time in between a project to do enough. But I learned a lot on that other project. Different DP, I was inevitably producing this too, just scrambling, right, trying to get people. So it was like a go, go, go scenario. And you learn, right? And so great project too was called Surfer. It's funny because we had my editor friend, Egg, is amazing. She's an editor. She's like, oh, let's take it out to send it out to the festivals. And for me, being the perfectionist that I am, wasn't going to do that for this one. But definitely future projects will. But I definitely was a great jumping off point, like you said, for my production company, 100%. So
nice.
Yeah. That's the long version.
That's okay. We're here to talk about it all. And I want to know more about your production company. I want you to kind of just take us through that process for you, what started it all, and, what exactly it is and what all you do with it.
Right, for sure. So I did another music video. And during that music video, I brought on my friend Angela Barrett, who is my co-producer / co-founder of C&J Films, my production company. And we were just talking about it actually during filming. And we kind of like-minded people as we were. Angela is an AD. She's an amazing, shout out to Angela Barrett, an amazing assistant director, but a way better, way amazing producer as well. I believe in her on that level, and she doesn't get enough credit. But yeah, so basically we were talking about it, and we decided two like-minded people of the same views, same values, want to help each other succeed and grow in this industry. How do we do this? Let's start a production company. I always wanted to, but I was sort of I need somebody who's going to have my back and partner up with me and help me grow. And that was Angela. And we kind of went from there and decided to just gangbusters on this music video, just took it to that level and attached our production company with it. How I started came up with the names is it's an homage. My parents passed away, so it's the C is my mom's name, Cheryl, and the J is my dad's name, John. And so I decided, I'm what can I do? In my brain, I was trying to think of names, and I'm that seems like a good homage to them because they were really important to me in my life, So
yeah. As we know, your dad really helped put that, spark that fire in you.
Oh, totally.
And I think it's very sweet. It's a great way to memorialize your parents. And, also C&J Films, it's smooth, it's simple, it's short, it flows right off the tongue. It's a great call.
Thank you. Thank you, for sure. But yeah, that's kind of how we just decided to do the production company. And it's a work in progress, you know what I mean? And we are continuing to get I have another video coming up, and the goal is to just everything that we do to get the production company attached to as well, right? So to grow
and build more resumes.
Yes.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yep. We've talked to we've had other amazing people on this show. One in particular, we had Liz Destro at one point. She is a independent film producer who has worked with other bigger independent filmmakers like Kevin Smith. And she also shared a similar story of how she went about getting her small production house together and doing what you're doing. And I love seeing that it's continuing, you know, you keep seeing people saying I'm going to take the chance on me. I'm going to make the stuff that I want to make. I want to be creative. I want to put stuff out there. Right. And I think that's wonderful. It's so cool to see this in other artists. So that's awesome, Nikki. Good job.
Yeah. Thank you.
And, I want to get into a little bit of the financial aspects of certain things. As we know with artists, you have to invest in yourself. And you made it clear, too, some of the projects you worked on, like you said, zero budget. Yeah. But to do this, to really establish yourself, to start building a production house, a production company, to start building your filmmaker resume, creating, writing, directing, producing, making these shorts, these music videos. What would you say financially, has it been a good investment, even if it's not quite monetarily? Obviously, there's definitely some experience gained from this financially, right? Has there been a good return for you?
I'll be honest, because I'm a straight shooter. I'm not going to bullshit you. There will be a great return. Has there been a great return? No, not yet.
It's a process.
It's a process. So basically, the last music video I did, I'm blanking on the name. The budget was the thing that this is going to sound it was $1,200 budget, right? That's not really.
It's more than most people.
No, I know. And I think that is sort of the problem. Does that make sense? That's sort of. It was my cousin's band. They're signed by a label. And other directors that I've spoken to were that's the problem. The label is unwilling to. Smaller labels
foot the bill.
That's
shocking. That's really shocking, because you would think labels would want ways to put more content out for the bands that they represent. I mean, look at Capitol Records. They foot the bill. They make these videos.
Totally.
I mean, come on.
Totally. We can get into that later too, because I have a connection there. But
You know everyone. We get it.
No. I want to show the other side of it, so that you need to be prepared for that too.
Yes,
people
please.
make
Absolutely.
the promises and they don't. Anyway,
They'll deliver. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's why we got to strike.
Exactly. 100%. Go writers, go actors. So we need
That's
to.
right.
We'll all make it through. So back to this. It was $1,200. And I'm like, well, I know that I'm not getting paid as a director, and I'm totally fine. Like, I need to pay my dues anyway. I'm fine with it. But what I'm not fine with is I have to pay my crew. I cannot, as a director, producer, go on to something and expect the people that are working so hard for me as hard as I'm working to make nothing. Like, I just can't. And like, it's very hard because a lot of people do anything for free anymore. So I was like, all right, my DP is amazing. Like, he deserved to at that point to get paid something. And he was fantastic on the music video. And like, Angela did it for free with me because she's my producing partner. But like, we had to pay my other camera guy, and I had to pay my hair and makeup artist, who did a great job. She did both hair and makeup on like 4 people. And she was newer out of mud. You know what I mean? That studio. So
yeah, you got to take care of your people. That's where your producing skills kick in. That's where you start the on-the-job training that you're getting as a producer, being like, I know my worth, but I also know the people that work for me. I know their worth and what they deserve. And if I can't give them exactly what they deserve, I'm going to give them something. And I think that's awesome that you found a way to help contribute to that, even with zero to little budget, And it was
cool awesome. Because the level of the skill rose, you know what I mean? I was really happy with this last music video. A lot of people liked it a lot. I got good feedback on it. There are some things I definitely would, because my brain is like, oh, change, but you live and you learn, and you move forward. But like, ideally, that's what I want. Like, I want to take care of myself, but I want to take care of other people. And that's the kind of director, producer I will always be. Like, you have to take care of your crew.
Yeah. I mean, simply look at the fact that, like you said it yourself, you really didn't have much of a budget to work with, but you still found a way to give a fair contribution to the working crew.
Right.
Looking at you, studios and streaming services. Come on now.
Let's go.
Everyone deserves,
wake up.
Everyone that helps make that pie deserves a piece of it. It's not that hard. And it helps build that community for those creators to want to come back. If you have a creative hair and makeup department and you did right by them, they're going to want to work with you again. Right. Even if you don't have a budget the second time around, they're still going to be like, I had a blast and I got to be creative. And that's the relationships that you want to cultivate. That's the networking skills that you want to build upon. Showing trust.
Exactly. And my shout out to the band, I'm remembering Upper Downer Band. That's the band that I directed.
Shout out to
Upper Downer. Upper Downer. All the boys, too. They freaking came and they delivered in the band. And I pushed them. And I actually was super chill, too, though. And I wanted to go long. Because you know how music videos can go, like, not 20 hours. But, like, we cut it pretty short. And I had definitely some more creative ideas to do. But you definitely learn a lot while doing each video. You know what I mean? Because it can be complicated. And I will say, like, people will get in their own way. Not necessarily me, but even artists. You know what I mean? They'll just...
Oh, yeah.
So it's fascinating to see how it all kind of comes together. And
in my humble opinion, too, yes, when you make a music video, it is like making a short film. However, I do see that music videos are definitely more artistic. They are an expression. You're not really showing a story like you would in a short film.
Right.
You're showcasing stream of conscious, really. You're showcasing visuals to go along with the music.
Right.
That is very impressive. That is extremely creative, and that can be extremely tough. Yeah. So yes, a music video is like creating a short film, but I think honestly a lot more hard work artistically has to go into it.
Totally. And for me, for that one in particular, most of my music, like, I have to have a story no matter what. Like, I have to.
It's
like,
just what we know, right?
Yeah. Well, it's just because I can't look at something and be like, oh, I'm going to shoot this, pop on the guy, go tighter on him. Okay, like, put some, like, funny lights. Like, that's not enough artistic stuff. There's got to be some, like, visual. There's got to be background. For me, as a director, I have to tell a story no matter what I'm doing. Like, it has to have purpose. However, I've learned through my experiences, sometimes the way that I tell a story, it doesn't fit the budget, right? So, like, for this specific Upper Downer music video, I had to, like, because I remember sending it out to a couple of DPs, and they're like, fuck, this is amazing. We can't do it in 2 days. I'm like, what do you mean we can't do it in 2 days? They're like, She's a fantastic. I like storyboard and I shot list. I do both. Like
That's amazing.
No matter what.
Storyboard, the forgotten art form.
Oh, I love it. It's about how I visually get things done, right? So, so I would say, and they're like, we can't do this in 2 days. And this is a bigger budget. Like, you have to dial it back. And so I went and I worked with the band and I talked to them about it. Because again, yes, it's my vision, but it's our vision. And I want to bring people into this too. It's not like I'm...
Well, and you're representing that band.
Exactly.
So obviously they need to say so. Like they need to say
100%,
in it. How else can they feel properly represented?
Exactly.
Again, cultivating relationships, building that network.
Huge. Yep. And so we were going back and forth. And I'm like, well, let's just do this. And they're like, yeah, that's a great idea. And so I definitely within like less than 10 hours, like came up with a new concept, got it ready. Boom, we went to work. And it was like, honestly, one of the most like rewarding, best days I've had doing filmmaking. Like the whole process was fantastic.
I think that is a financial payout just from the experience alone. Because you may not have made money, but you learned how to
100%.
really use that money, how to move things around and make it work. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I was super excited. And the idea is to do more, so like each payoff, each artist, each short will have its like positives and things you have to work through, but it's I the more experience and the more content I can create and the more I can give to an artist and grow their audience too, like we're all winning, right? Like that's what this is about.
Absolutely. So exactly. Well, Nicole, I really appreciate you coming on today and giving us a look inside of C&J Films, what exactly it is that you do as a producer, as a filmmaker, the people you work with, like Angela, all these hardworking crew members that you find, these talented people. It's really cool to see that aspect. It's really cool to see how you're learning to grow and improve yourself and build something. You're trying to build something here. So I think that's amazing. And, I really appreciate the little peek behind the curtain,
Yeah.
The look at everything.
For sure.
Before I move into some questions, is there anything that you'd like to share with us related to any projects? I know you have a lot of stuff in the works, but is there anything that you want to share with us, like some of these music videos that already are out there where we can go and find them, anything like that? Yeah,
so Up or Downer Band is, I'll tell you a story about that too. It's on my Facebook page. I'm working on setting up the YouTube page too and putting it out there. It's also on YouTube as well.
And, we record early, so who knows, maybe we'll have something by the time this airs. And of course, to listeners out there are links in the show notes.
Awesome. I will say this, interestingly enough, the label, they're a smaller label. Check this out. Because, I tell the truth always. I went into editing with my editor and we did boom by boom. And I was like, fix this, do that. So he really took my direction almost to the point of maybe I was annoying. But he's like, no, it's your vision. This is good. He's awesome. Shout out to Ed. He's an amazing editor.
You knew what you wanted and you didn't leave it up to the editor. You didn't leave it on the editing floor. You said, this is what I want. And you made the editor feel like, okay, great. I know what to work with.
Exactly.
They didn't have to second guess everything or get blamed for shit that's not in their control.
No.
Smart move.
Totally. So with that, we add a couple of editing pieces, right? So I will say the first round was sent to the label, unfortunately, without my name attached to it at all in the video. So the editor freaked out at them, you have to take it down. She needs to, this is her project as well. You've got to release the director's as well in a music video. And I'm like, but they wouldn't take it down. So they didn't at all. So what happened was I released a director's cut. Well, because I'm like, fuck it. Listen, dude, if it was Capital, I'm not going to make a big deal. But I also worked really hard. God damn it. They just put the thing, just for that. So cut to this, though. This is a cool story I'm going to segue into. Somehow at my other job, I met this woman. She is the head of Snoop Dogg's company. And this was right during the day.
Humble brag. I like it.
So I was having a day of it and she's like, is it in the air, woman to woman? Because I'm having a day of it too. And I told her my story and she goes, look at me. She goes, you should be furious. Do not dumb this down. You need to be, as a woman and how hard it is in directing and in the world that we have. She's like, you need to be furious. So sort of gave me validation. Okay, I was right to be upset at that point, And it
you were.
And it also pushed me to release a director's cut because I was like, well, what do I not do it? Do I just let this go? Because I'm a chill person, But then I'm like, no, fucking release the director's cut, and I did. So
hell yeah, your version.
Exactly.
I love it.
So,
That's smart. I like that. You found a way to overcome a scenario that tried to, bend you over, and you're like, no, I got this. Watch this. Underestimate me again. Go ahead.
Exactly. Well, because
I love it.
you have to, like, and it's anybody fighting for something that they believe in and stuff. Use your voice. It's what it's there for. Like, so many people will tell you not to do it. It's because they are insecure themselves and don't want you to make. I'm not saying make a stink, but when there's reason to do so, and it's your project, you should absolutely be passionate about it and fight for things. Like look at the Greta who did Barbie. You know what I mean? She fought specifically for the amazing movie. By the way, I love it.
I do too.
The
I thought it
bus
was
scene,
brilliant.
with that bus scene with the
Yeah.
She fought for that in the movie, to be even in the movie, and they didn't want it. I'm like, no, that's a fucking phenomenal scene between Barbie and the older woman. Like, it needed to be there. Like,
It needed to be there. And also,
right.
I think that scene, I believe the going joke now is every single actor in their audition reels is now going to be quoting America Ferrera's montage, her monologue,
yeah,
her
totally.
monologue.
Totally.
I was like, that is fucking Academy right there.
Totally.
Such a great monologue.
Totally. The whole thing. I mean, it was just great. So, you got to fight for what's right and what you believe in, and fight for people that, that's what so.
100%. I absolutely love that. Thank you so much for sharing that. That is awesome. I'm so glad to hear this. And obviously you're doing well. You are on the up and coming. Like you are making it. You are on your way to being, I would say you are successful, and you're on your way to be even more successful, both financially and just as a creative in general. So congratulations to you. I can't wait to see what else happens. And who knows what's going to happen by the time this episode airs, because again, to the listeners, we record everything in advance. I like to get it in early if I can, because these folks are hard work and they're busy. I can't always catch them right away. So I really appreciate you taking the time to come on and talk to me today and share your experience, your journey, especially to other young filmmakers out there and to women out there that are wanting to do, producing and filmmaking, and know that like you can get it done. Anybody can do this. You just got to go out there and do it. And you learn.
Yep. And you got to pursue your dreams and never give up, because there will be roadblocks, but you have to. How bad do you want it?
Yeah.
That's in life.
Exactly. Speaking of roadblocks, I'm going to move into some questions here.
I talk your ear off.
That's what we're here for.
Focus me back in, rein me in. Yep.
So, Nikki, I want to ask you now, what is the biggest challenge you had to overcome? Maybe it's even something that you are still working on as a filmmaker, as a producer, with the stuff that you've been doing lately. What has been the biggest challenge? Well,
honestly, it's me, like self-doubt. There's two: self-doubt and, because I'll bring this up, and money, you know what I mean? It's getting the budget out there, being able to juggle everything. Because I told you before off camera, but I'll be honest with about it now. I have 4 jobs right now to try to make it in LA, to try to do what I love, which is the creative, and then I do real estate on the side because, so I think
you got to pay bills. You have rent, you got utilities, and you want to invest in your project.
Exactly. So
LA is not cheap.
It's not cheap, right? So that's been the biggest challenge. And like I told you previously, it's because I want to make sure everyone gets paid. I don't care that I do, but they need to. So it's the fine line of the self-deprecation within myself and the money struggle.
I honestly feel that that's a big challenge any artist out there can relate to, is the self-doubt and, of course, money. It always comes down to, I think those are probably the number 2, both almost tied for the number 1 and number 2 most challenging things you're going to deal with as any kind of artist, whether you are a filmmaker, a musician, an actual artist that paints and makes crafts, any artist out there. I definitely think that we are our worst critics. We are our harshest critics. We critique ourselves too harsh. But that's because we are passionate about what we do, and we're perfectionists, whether we want to admit it or not. Yeah, we're creative. We have a creative mind, but we're very perfectionist about it, right, myself included.
Exactly.
It's part of why I like doing this podcast, because this is for you guys. This is a platform for the artists, but even I want to make sure that it's perfect for you.
Yeah,
I want it to be absolutely perfectly representative of who you are.
Totally. And you're doing a great job.
Thank you.
Yes.
But I can relate to that, and I totally get that. And, moving along here, I want to also ask you now, what is something unexpected that you had to face. And it may have been something that you had to learn right then and there in the moment. You know, as a filmmaker and as someone who grew up surrounded by the industry, like you said, your dad and his filmmaking skills, you getting the opportunity to work both as a stand-in, work behind the camera as a production assistant, be able to shadow brilliant directors and mentors of yours. You've seen it all. You've gotten a really great in-depth view of everything. So you understand when you're going out there to do a project, what your expectations are. You understand what to prepare yourself for. But I know there has to be something unexpected that caught you off guard. How did you deal with that?
Wow. These are good questions, Damn. Just settle
I
in
want
for
people
that.
to know. I want people to know.
Well, honestly, it's time and time management and how things can change on the fly. And you have to be like my mentor director, Ken, he's like, you have to be prepared for things to change and you have to like not show the like, yeah, of course you're going to be affected by it, but you have to like, there was a point I will say on the music video, for example, like where the artist wanted to be done. It was like afternoon. He was like, I'm done. I don't want to do anymore. It's too hot.
You get tired. It's long days. Yeah,
totally. But I'm like, I was like inside. I was like, no, come on. Like I have all these other shots. And I'm like, I went to him and I'm like, you've done a great job because he was amazing. But I'm like, give me more, a little bit. Like I know that this is exhausting now, but I promise you the end result will be worth it,
Absolutely.
And so we had to like cut a bunch of stuff that I didn't necessarily want to cut, but I'm like, fuck it. What am I going to do? So you have to be willing to change on a whim. And we ended up going to the end of the day sequence, but it was literally adjusting on the fly. And that's what I did, So I think that's a huge thing. Because inevitably stuff is always going to go wrong. You have to figure out how to like problem solve and adjust quickly.
It's funny that you say that because you would think the thing that anyone, even if they're not an artist, would understand that's to be unexpected is time.
It is.
But
time.
It's funny because as a filmmaker, especially as someone, both of us who have worked on sets, everything is organized. Everything has a time limit. You're within time restraints. You understand this. You know that this is going to require something and you do your absolute best to plan everything out within a certain time limit, but it always catches you off guard. It always catches you off guard, no matter how well you plan for it. Time will always catch you off guard. It's really interesting how that happens too. But I love the way that you look at it and find ways to work through it. That's awesome.
Right. Well, because I look at it like that. Like I could either get mad, which I'm not. That's not who I am, and like throw a big fit. Again, it's not how I roll. But ultimately, we're all working together and trying to figure this out and create the best product we can. So let's do it in like a calm fashion. And like, I also will say this, like, as a filmmaker, I have been on sets, and you too, where we film like 16, 20-hour days.
Yep.
Unnecessary. That's not the filmmaker that I will ever be. I mean, I want to get things done 8, 10 hours maximum. Like, because you know what's going to happen if you go over the 10, 11-hour limit? You're not going to get a better performance out of your actor. You're going to kill them, and you're killing your crew. Like,
you're exhausted.
Yes. So, so you have to be as prepared as possible. And like, yeah, it's all comes down to like how you adjust to things in time. I guess I kind of answered your question.
No, you did. You did great. No, it's great. I got another tough question for you here too. I want to ask you about, a hard reality that you've had to deal with and accept. It's something discouraging that, you push through. Maybe you resolved it, who knows? But there are hard realities out there. They are facts of life. There is no changing it or anything like that. You literally have to accept it. It is something that is right there. It's in your way. And you just have to figure out how to handle it. You've got to figure out how to push through. What is a hard reality for you? It's a matter of fact. It can't be changed.
Great question. I'm definitely going to come back. I've had a few. I will tell you the later one at another date, but I will tell you this one. Okay. So I'll be honest, like the hard realities that I've had and that a lot of people have had in this business, whatever your job is I think a bad trait that human beings have is the empty promises that people make towards each other. Like, if that makes sense. Like, so he's a friend of mine. I went to high school with him. I'm not going to say who it is. He's a very big music producer. And we had met up. And he was like, I'm going to put you in all of my deals. He's at Capitol. He's worked with like Beyonce, 21 Pilots, everyone under the sun. And I had a specific artist at that time that I was sort of developing for. And he's like, yeah, give me his stuff. I just asked him to like, if it's worth doing. And he's like, they're great. Let me help you. Kind of putting all of this out there for me, like dangling a carrot, right? Mm-hmm. And the harsh reality was, it was always these empty promises with nothing behind it. And it was like 6, 7, 8 months. And finally I couldn't take it anymore. And I was like, sent him an email. It wasn't like a dick, but I was like, hey, like I'm upset with you because of X, Y, and Z. And I think it's a harsh reality for people to learn that like, until you're actually out there doing it, nothing is for sure in life or this business. Until you actually are out there shooting that music video or actually doing something, you know?
Yeah.
It's just a dream. I don't want to say dream, but that was a very harsh reality because I thought I took him at his word. And I'm not saying all people are like this, but I'm saying I think a lot of people, as human beings, promise people the world and they can't deliver. And so if anything, it's taught me to never, ever do that to anybody. Like my word is my bond. Like that's it. Because it was hard. It definitely like fucked with me, pardon my French, you know?
Understandably. That is a hard reality, is handshake deals. Understanding that that's exactly what they are. They are a handshake deal. You're taking someone at their word. There's nothing written in stone or in paper. There's no contract. And that's something that any artist should be prepared for, and to understand that a matter of fact is a handshake deal does not make it real.
Shit. Yeah.
Exactly. Be prepared for that. And look, you can trust people. There are people that you can take that chance with, but make sure you really know them. And like you said, you may actually really know them. That doesn't change that possibility is still there for it to not work out the way that you had hoped, because it was a handshake deal. It was not written in paper. And that is a very difficult, harsh reality and hard reality. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, obviously you've learned a lot from these roadblocks. You've learned a lot from these things that have come up and you've had to overcome. And I want to ask you, what do you feel is the most valuable takeaway that you've learned from your experience? You know, something that helped you grow and improve as an artist, as a filmmaker, as a producer?
Well, I would say still learning every day, right? Because I will learn to the day that I die. The day that I stop learning is maybe the day that I do die, because, yeah, you should always learn in life. Basically, I have a lot of, through all the hardships and stuff that I've been through, I have a gazillion, acquaintances, all over the business. I do. But I have a very close-knit group of friends and even from the business. And I've definitely learned a lot from them, you know, and each experience that we've gone through together. And I learned from the handshake deals. So this is what I need to do moving forward, you know. No job is the same, right? So every job is different, and every job I can improve on. So I look at it like that.
It's a great takeaway to have.
Yeah. I want to be a better person, right? So how do I do that every day? What do I do? So
your own experience is your valuable takeaway.
Yeah, I guess.
The knowledge you gain.
Exactly. Right. But then also I will say being on these incredible sets that I've been fortunate to, be on has taught me a lot too, working and shadowing Ken and working with Drew and working with Colin Farrell on stuff, just learning from a lot of successful people too, I think is a very big key to this as well, and how they work and how they've made it. And it's definitely super helpful. It's something that I can want to aspire to be. Right. So.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely. And, earlier we had talked about the unexpected, but I want to ask you now, what did you want or expect from creating this production company of yours from C&J Films?
I want, what do I expect? Just funny because it's so not me. I want to be able to do more and create more amazing content for myself and for the artists that I bring to the table. And I want to ultimately create something that touches people's lives and gives people hope. Does that make sense?
No, I love that. It's very sincere. I like it.
Right. And create also I technically I go political, but like I'm like a Democrat, like technically. But like I believe in hearing each other out, like to unify. You know what I mean? Like we can see both sides.
Right. I think that's a democratic thought process, but I don't really know if it's an actual Democrat if we're talking politics, because no
No,
one listens
right.
to anyone in
No,
politics.
nobody does. And I'm sort
But
of like, do
I
not get
definitely
me
get what you're
started.
saying.
Yeah, no.
I definitely hear what you're saying, though. You're right. You want to be able to hear everyone out. You want to have that back and forth where you're actually learning from one another.
Right. Well, because I believe everybody has a story, right?
Absolutely.
You have to, want to be able to hear people, and I want to be able to create amazing content and tell someone's story, like eventually mine, but we're not there yet, and have fun. I'm all about having fun too. Most of my sets, by the way, and I hate talking about myself, but it's cool because it's here.
That's what you're here for.
Like,
this is all about you.
Oh God, no. I like to have fun. Like I goof off. I'm like serious, but I'm also like super fun. Does that make sense? Like
it's perfect because you got to set that tone on set. You want to set the tone. You want everyone to have a good time. Like we established, there are long hours. Even on these independent projects, on your own projects, you're still working long hours.
Right.
Even if you're doing a 10 to 12 hour day, which is short compared to how we normally work, that's still a long day for the majority of people.
Right.
So you want to have a good time. You want people to remember that day, and you want them to remember it in a great way.
Totally. And so I will say going back to that one question, the unexpected. So there was, and I'll be honest about it, there was an unexpected glitch in one of the cameras, and it wasn't on me. It was on the DP.
Oh yeah. There's always technical unexpected things.
Right. And so, and I love my like they're great. And so I didn't find that out until editing, and I was like, but instead of like, I could get really mad. What is the point, dude? We were all trying. It's you learn, you live and you learn. Mm-hmm. And, maybe definitely the next time having more of a technical day where everything is on point, making sure, but like, yeah, like unexpected stuff's going to happen. Like you got to have fun too. And that's life. And we still made a great music video. So who cares? So
there you go. No, I love it. Thank you for sharing that. And, after hearing everything that you've gone through, everything that you have learned, I'd just like to know, what's your drive? What motivates you, Nikki?
I honestly, that's my other friend, Sam, who's like going to start writing with me. Shout out to Sam Lou. She's an amazing AD as well.
Nice. Start
writing some stuff. And Freddie Rejo, I don't know if you know him. He's going to kind of come on as a producer on this stuff as well, moving forward.
Building that team. I love it.
Well, it's bit by bit, right? Basically, like people ask, like, why don't, give up, or my drive, what you're saying. Basically, I don't know. Like, I do know, like, there's something burning desire within me to not give up and to just keep pushing forward, because I will tell you this, when I was a child, I was very good at tennis, right? And I had these goals and mantras on my wall, and I would say every morning and every evening, and I hit every one of those goals. And it's like the drive that I made. Also, segue, I was down in a tennis match 6-0, 5-0, 40-15 in a tennis match. And I came back and won the entire match.
Nice.
Point by point by point. So what I'm saying is there's like this apparent need in me to overcome any obstacle. And I get obstacles thrown at me quite a bit, like we all do. But just persevere, push forward, because there is a reason for it and you will get there.
Well, I love that. And honestly, it sounds to me like a big part of your motivation is that you do not leave things unfinished.
No, I don't. No.
It's like you're taking it all the way to completion. It's going to get done, regardless of what gets thrown at you. You're like, all right, bring it. Yep. It only makes you better. I
exactly.
love that.
And I guarantee I've been through it. And I was, you know what I mean? So, and a lot of people can relate, in every aspect in life.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Going through hardships. So you just got to I always have a positive attitude, and I like to keep that, and help people. So
I love it. Listen, my last thing for you here is more of a statement than a question. I just want to know, is there any advice or anything that you would like to say to anyone out there looking to do what you do?
Yeah, I would say, of course, no. don't give up on your dreams. There will be obstacles. There will be self-doubt. There will be times when you're going to want to quit. Don't listen to outside opinions because everyone has them. You just stay focused on your goals. You can make it happen. Right?
That's right.
Rome wasn't built in a day. Like, it takes a team effort too to do things. Find quality people that you can trust and push through. Like, the thing is, life isn't easy. It's earnest. It's hard, but there are beautiful moments along the way too. You know, and that's like my advice. Like, you have to, you know, and that's not without learning or working on yourself. And so nobody give up. Like, that's my honest, you know.
Follow the Nikki rules of don't leave things unfinished. Complete it, no matter what. Complete
exactly. That, and you know what? I will say this. You're going to be like, what? Universal health care. That's something that needs to happen in this country, in my opinion.
That's fair. Different conversation for a different day, but
yes,
I agree.
Exactly.
We all need it. Well, Nicole, once again, thank you for coming on. I really appreciate you sharing your experience with us. Thank you for taking us to this amazing journey of yours. You know, from your humble roots growing up with your dad, getting a little peek behind the curtain, and then moving up into the world and becoming an adult, getting a chance to be on sets, you know, and then really taking a chance on yourself and establishing yourself with other people, bringing them along with you, working together, building that team, cultivating those relationships. I think that's so awesome. I really appreciate you sharing about your production company, you know, your work with music videos and shorts. And I know you have other projects in the works, and I hope you get a chance to come back on. But right now, I just want you to, you know, promote yourself. Where can we find C&J Films? Where can we find some of your work? How can we reach out to you if we want to follow you and show some support?
I'm on Facebook and Instagram. It should be under my name, Nicole LaBrucherie, or Instagram is Nicki LaBruche, I think, but it's still my name. Also, I'm on my music videos there for Up or Downer Band and my other one as well. Also, I'm putting it up on YouTube, but it's already up. The Up or Downer Band is up there. And the new artist that I'm going to do is Danielle Champagne. So that should be coming out. We'll see when. But
hey, if it's out by the time this airs, we'll add a link in the show note.
Awesome. But yeah, those are the two sites. I'm not a huge social media person, but I realize with this business, unfortunately, I have to be. So that's my push-pull. Like, if I could do anything, I'd get rid of it all. But no, I realize you can't do that now. So that's Facebook, Instagram. I'm sort of starting a TikTok, but my name, like, I'm not
figuring it all out.
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah. So there you go.
Well, again, thank you so much, folks. Please go out there, check out Nicole's work, support her, reach out if you're just a creative mind looking to work with another creative mind. If you're an artist or a musician and you want some help with your music videos, check her out. That's right. Yeah. Nicole, is there anything else that you would like to add before we end this? Is there anything else you have to say?
No, I think I'm good. I think, you know, like I said, I'm proud of you, and this is my first like podcast. It was super fun, and
it's a practice run. You got more to come.
Yeah, absolutely. Be busy, and you know what? Like, I'm grateful in my life. Every day is a gift, no matter what it is. If it's hard, if it's, you know, I'm super grateful, and you have always been a very good person and a good friend to me, and I always have your back, Jacob, and you know.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Listen, you guys heard it here first. You know, don't give up. No matter what you do, do not give up. If there's something in your way, push through, figure it out, because you're a creative person, and if you were to give up, you're not creative. So you know deep down that you're going to find a way to overcome it. As Nicole said, you know, you just got to push through it. Don't let it stop you. No matter how down you are, you're going to do it. Go after it.
Well, and also, totally, and then to segue into that, some of those obstacles can be your most creative moments. You don't know
Absolutely.
that, right?
In the words of Bob Ross, happy accidents.
Exactly. Love it.
Again, Nicole, thank you so much. And to my listeners out there, I hope that you found something inspirational today with what Nicole had to say. And until the next time, stay golden.
You as well, my friend.
Thanks for listening. Please be sure to rate and review, and click that subscribe button for new bi-weekly episodes. As always, the theme music is provided by the Ericka page. Follow us on social media at IPA Sessions Podcast. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and now we have a TikTok and YouTube. All information and links are in the show notes. So show some love and support for these amazing indie artists. And if you'd like to come on and share your journey as an independent artist, reach out to me via email at ipasessionspodcast@gmail.com. Till next time, I hope you found some inspirations for practical application in entertainment.